All right. There, it looks like we're cooking there now. Last week I really screwed up. I started in and I hit the recording, but I didn't hit the second time, so it didn't actually start. And we had some really good content on the beginning of the call, and I was thinking this is going to be awesome. And then I looked up and I'm like, oh shit, it's not recording.
That's happened to me too, but you know,
So
and now they've changed the view on Zoom. Have you noticed that?
yeah. So I turned the recording on real quick. Didn't really make any big deal about it. And the last part of it was great content too. So we didn't miss too much out on that. But anyway, what do we got? It's October 15th, halfway through October, almost to Halloween here. Can't believe we're coming to the end of 2020. And I know I've been on a lot of podcasts and calls and all kinds of stuff, and a lot of people took a beating this year. But I gotta tell you, it's been one of our best years, if not the best so far, and I'm looking forward to it extending into 2021.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's
You bought a boat that we're all going to go on next year. So
yeah,
Yeah.
in fact, I'm going to be set to go and pick that thing up tomorrow.
Dynamite.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not going to put it in the water right away, right?
Oh, it's in the water already.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Ooh.
this isn't one that you tow around. This is a 55 footer, so it's
Oh my gosh.
70,000 pounds.
Where will you dock it?
It's going to be in Long Beach.
So,
I have
that means, are you going to have a welcoming committee on the dock when you arrive?
Yeah, possibly.
Please let me know.
I have an appointment at.
Hey, I'll bring the champagne to break over the bow.
I'll bring an extra champagne bottle with you, Lisa.
Yeah, because we gotta have one to drink.
That's right.
That's it. Yeah, I've got an appointment at 10 to. They have to inspect it, measure it, all that kind of stuff, and I'm like,
You
really?
have to dock at 9:30, 9:45.
Yeah, I'm like, really? You need to measure it. It's a Coast Guard documented vessel. You need to measure it, do you? I think it's been measured already. But anyway, it is what
Marina in Long Beach, Naples,
we're in.
Vermont.
We're in Shoreline.
Shoreline. Oh, that's even closer to me.
Shoreline Marina.
605 freeway, dead end, right into Long Beach on the airport side.
Yeah, it's not far from there.
Okay.
But, right now, it's currently in Coronado, down just almost to Mexico.
Yeah, and you're gonna sail up the coast.
So I'm gonna sail out to sea and then up the coast.
Okay. So if your 10 o'clock appointment is 10 a.m., that means we should be at dockside around 9:30 to welcome you home.
There you go.
Please. I want permission to come down and meet you at the dock.
Sure, you could do that.
Well, send me the location then. Thank you.
All right. But anyway, that's it's very very exciting stuff.
Yeah, that's why you need someone to receive you at the dock.
It's not my biggest boat ever, but it's probably, well, by far my nicest boat I've ever had.
Yeah.
So
Off the business side.
It's got more amenities than my house.
I believe that. It costs more than your house too, probably.
Well, if it's 50 foot, my width of my property is 50 feet. So
Yeah.
you're wider than my house.
Well, John, one of my secret desires has been to be first mate on a yacht like that and provide the entertainment at night because, I've been a professional singer for 40 years and I'll make sandwiches during the day. And I just want to know, is it pet friendly?
What kind of pet?
My dog, Chica.
Oh, dogs are okay, but I can't deal with cats.
Oh, no. She's everybody's favorite. She snuggles and she's a good girl. Anyway, so I'd love to jump in here and ask you some Kartra questions.
Well, hop aboard.
Okay, so and this is directly related to Shantha, who is on here too, is that I want to start using banner season and I have Kartra. So I want to be able to get everybody's birthdays. So some of the people that I've collected the birthdays from the programs that I'm in, I now have 20 birthdays. There is no birthday field
Okay,
on
well,
the
you
CRM.
can add it to Kartra.
Yes, you can. So my Kartra girl, who I also invited to be on this, and so if there's a girl who pops in that, you know, you don't know, it's Sasha, but she didn't say she was available. I really want her to start learning from you because she's my tech person, and she knows a lot. But she said that the way to do it, there's a couple different ways. We could do a custom form, and then they do that like we've done location and contact us.
Uh-huh.
But given I already have people's birthdays, would I then just enter that information on the form for them?
Well, if you have their birthday, all you have to do is if you want to do it manually, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because now I've got 20 people's birthdays manually, and then I want to do Shanta's method of getting some interaction and engagement. But on the hindsight of it is, I need it to be searchable.
Okay.
There's two things. I want whatever form to then do a tag, so that, how do we make it so that when it is their birthday, there's got to be an automation that they go into a sequence that it's, or they get a birthday email, hi, congratulations, here's your thing for your birthday. And, or I search, get a list, then can download it to send to banner season. Like, how do I do that?
Gotcha. Well, I can tell you that currently Kartra does not have a birthday function module like what banner season has. Banner season has it already built in, so you might be better off to use that system for that particular feature. But let me tell you, there's always a way to do everything. It's a hard way. But you could create.
Yeah, Kartra ain't easy. Yeah, okay.
Well, here's the hard way without it being systematized in Kartra. I think they've got that on. That's one of the things on their wish list that they're going to be coming out with. I don't know when, but it is on their radar to do the whole birthday thing and anniversaries and special dates and all that. But it's not there yet. If you wanted to do it manually inside Kartra, what you could do is you could create 365 tags, one for each day of the year. Yeah, that's why I said it's not going to be easy, but you could create 365 tags, and you could have the tags appropriately fire a sequence based on that date. Once you created the first one, you just
how about 12
replicate.
tags? 12 tags for the birthday month.
You could do that, absolutely. Okay. Sure, your birthday month, for sure. That wouldn't be that big a deal.
All right, and then?
So there's that, and then you create the sequence. The sequence basically is the same. In fact, you could have a generic birthday month sequence that didn't say the month. And then basically the tag is fired based on when it's applied. You know what I mean?
Yes, and would the application of it be automatic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, so if I did the tag birthday 1, that'd be January, birthday 12, or birthday January, birthday February.
Yeah, because in the automation, you can set it based on a date, a fire date, and you can do it like every year.
Okay, so that's great. Now, the second part of that is I have this 90 days to done program that started October 1st. What I want to do is anybody who has a birthday between now and the 1st of January, I want to send them the brownies that
oh, cool.
Now I'm not a member, so I'll be paying full price because I'm just not there yet, right? My goal is to be a member next year. But if it costs me $10 or $10.95 or whatever Shanta showed us, it's worth it to start getting the word of mouth, like, oh my God, I got the birthday, and people, expect that. So in doing that, the process then would be anybody that put in their actual birth date that was what that would go 12-22-78 or just 12-22 would then get a 12 birthday tag and then, or a December birthday tag and be automated in a sequence. But then how would can I search or just go? I just don't know how to send them the actual stuff.
Like I created a special tag for website URL because I do those website evaluations. So I have a Kartra form and they didn't have URL for a form field. So I created a custom form field called URL, and I can search in there under URL and I can find who belongs to that URL. So they are searchable. So
okay, so
in
if
answer,
I
in
put
answer
the word
to your
January,
first question, like for your 20 that you want to add in,
yeah,
all you have to do is just go under leads, search for the lead, edit the lead, and you can manually just enter it right under the lead. You don't have to create a form or anything.
got it. But the form has to be present so that the field is present.
Correct. Yeah.
So she's got to do that first. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Create
right.
the form, add the custom field to it so it updates the database, and then that should show up on all of your leads. It'll just be blank, so you can go in and edit a lead and fill it in.
And if I want them to type it all in correctly, basically, is it like radio buttons? Because it's like they would choose January, February, March, and then be able to choose the date. And then the year is optional.
You could do that. You could do it that way.
Because I don't want people typing in numbers and have that come into the field instead of.
Sure. I believe, I don't know this for sure, I'd have to look at it, but I believe you can have a proper format. Like when you choose a date to put in, I think you can choose what type of formatting you want forced.
Okay.
Because you can make it a required field, and if it's forced validation, then they have to put it in a certain way. That's a common standard thing.
And then I could just export, like out of the 20, there might be 6 people that have birthdays between now and the end of the year.
Yeah, you could always go in and add a tag. By adding a tag, you can automatically fire a sequence. The sequence, like, let's say you had the sequences all set up and you had a January, a February, a March, all the way through December, and you go in and you edit a lead and you say, okay, here's a March tag. So you add a March tag to them. That fires the sequence. Now the first email that goes in the sequence can be held until March. And then it can send every March after that the birthday month greeting.
Okay, say that again, please, just one more time.
Okay, so let's say you set up 12 sequences, one for each month.
Mm-hmm.
The sequences are held to fire on that month, like March 1st.
Okay.
It'll say, hey, it's your birthday month. Congratulations on, whatever, however you want to say that. And then every year you can send the same thing on the same date. So now that the sequence is set up, the thing that actually fires and initiates the sequence would be the March tag. So let's say you have a new lead and they are not tagged. So you go in, you edit their lead, you add the March tag to it. Now that triggers the sequence, but it will not send an immediate message until then following March 1st.
Got it. Okay, great. I'm going to have to take this replay and send it to Sasha.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But me communicating it again to somebody else, I will screw it up.
Sure. Yeah, anytime you set up a sequence, you've got trigger actions that can start the sequence, and then you tell the sequence what to do. Like you can say that send the first email based on a date of March 1st, January 1st, whatever.
And then as far as like a download to get it into Banner Season's hands for those 6 people, if I did a search between, say, whatever and whatever, I haven't even looked at Banner Season's system, but I have to be able to get it out of Kartra.
Yeah, I have Banner Season. I'm a member. I am just, you guys know, I keep touting how lazy I am. It's just another proof point. I haven't used it yet. And my goal actually, is this Christmas to start sending the brownies. I love the whole brownie idea. So I have to get Barb up to speed on that because I want her to learn it and use it and do all that. So, but I again haven't looked at the back end. I think it can use Zapier though.
John, Shanta here. Yeah, I was going to ask you, does Kartra, can we use Zapier to link
Yes.
it? Because we do have Zapier.
Yes. So that's probably a good solution to put Zapier in the middle. That way, if a date comes in banner season, it will update in Kartra. And if a date comes in Kartra, it can update that lead over into banner season.
Yeah, because ultimately what I'd like to do is do more than just I don't really just necessarily want an email. I could do an email and a hard copy card.
Sure, sure. What you can do, you can use Zapier to synchronize the two. Like if you get let's say you collect an address, a physical hard address in Kartra, have it pipe that information over into banner season and vice versa. If it comes into banner season, have it pipe over into Kartra.
So tagging onto that is, I also find that a lot of people's billing addresses aren't their mailing address. And there doesn't seem to be two different fields for that in Kartra either. Would that be another custom field?
That would be a custom field, yes.
Okay.
Now, again, I haven't used this, but I've seen like videos on it. It looks just phenomenal inside of banner season as they have a physical address lookup based on the person's name and city. So if you know where they live and you know what their name is, it can hunt down and find their physical mailing address.
Really? Okay.
That's freaking awesome.
Yes, it is. And what part of that is? That's a Zapier thing, or
No, that's built into banner season.
built into banner season? Okay. All right.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
like, when I saw that feature, I'm like, wow,
Okay.
that's awesome.
Oh, that is awesome. All right. And then I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want the answer to this. Do you have a hack in Kartra when I'm trying to merge records? So what happened was I've had the person in there, then they signed up for my program and they forgot an S on their own email. So I went to the Facebook group, the official, and I got some instructions which did not work
Okay.
from another user. What I did was I changed her original record because now all the money and the stuff is in the second record, which is the not correct email.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I changed the email address in the first email, the original, to another email address.
Okay.
And then I deleted the record. Then I went back to the second record and tried to update it with the S to her original email. And they said, email already in use.
Oh yeah. You cannot do that.
Well, that's
Kartra-
what somebody told me is the only way that works. And by the way,
Well,
I went to Kartra and they've given me the same.
they didn't know what they were talking about.
Okay, so
because
what's the hack?
Kartra, well, let me give you the reality first before I give you the hack. The reality is Kartra is one massive global database, just like Infusionsoft. So when a user has an email address in Kartra, whether they have their own Kartra account or they've signed up for an affiliate program with someone or whatever, once their email is in Kartra, that record exists and it cannot be duplicated. So you can't add another person in there with the same record because it already exists. Now, as far as a hack, I don't know if this will solve your problem, but let's say somebody signs up and they've got a bad email address. They forgot the S, right? If that's really the only problem, you can go in and you can edit the email address to contain the second S, as long as they don't have another Kartra account somewhere where that address exists.
I'm sorry. Are you saying that in this circumstance, I could have gone into the second newly created wrong email and add the S?
You could have just fixed it if that address was not previously used in Kartra.
Well, but of course it was, because she had her original address in there.
If it was, then I don't know a fix for that.
Well,
I've encountered that one a couple of times. The only thing I could say is it's fixable at the database level, which you do not have access to. I don't know how amenable they would be to do that for you, but they can do it if they wanted to. So you might put a support ticket in and see if they can do that for you.
So, yeah. Okay, I did, and I did it 10 days ago. And then they're telling me that they can't, instead of just fixing it, I said, can you just fix it? They wouldn't. They took me through all these screencasts that they took, and they said that they couldn't find it, and they've only got this person. And then this is what they told me: add a new lead profile with the email address, which was the correct email address, but it won't let me. And it says update the email to something like the email address plus archive at Gmail. Then add another lead profile with the email address, with the old email address, update the address. I mean, it's so convoluted and complicated of what they told me to do.
I never thought about this before, but try this. Try this and let me know if it works. Create a form and then go enter that person in as a lead using the correct address and see if it'll allow you to do it.
It won't, because, well, I do have a blank form, but I've tried that before based on your suggestion, and it's still blacklisted. It still won't let me email them. And they say
that's a whole different thing. Blacklist doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Well,
I'm talking about getting them into your database with the correct email address.
And then it says, kindly note it is outside the scope of our business to make these changes on your behalf.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They can do it. It's just a matter of whether they're going to want to or not. Because at the database level, you can go in and you can change any record in a database. It's just,
I know you've given me whatever, but none. So what happens if none of this works? Because I've really tried everything that they have screencasted and the misspelled, and I have another person. So okay, another situation where a guy who signed up for my program, once again, who paid me, once again, he's now a hard bounce, and I can't email him anything.
okay, well, that one's easy. You just send in a support ticket and say, look, this is a customer. This email address is good. Try the email address, make sure it's actually good first.
It is, because I've been emailing him through my personal account.
Okay, so just put in a support ticket, say this is the customer, I need to be able to email them, and they should whitelist them for you. I've never had an issue with that. And here, like in answer to your question, I have run across that multiple times where the email thing doesn't work in Kartra, and I just won't fight stuff like that because it's too easy just to fix it with a different email address.
But I've got people that don't have another email address.
Well, there's no excuse for that as long as Gmail exists with a free email.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I will go back to this other guy. I mean, I have so many of these.
I mean, you can set up a free Gmail account and have it forward to your other account. You'll never have to check that Gmail account ever. You just have to have it in existence.
Yeah, but for me to listen, I got to tell you, I got old people, and they don't even open their email. I mean, I'm still suffering from KPFK. I will never, ever do anything with that radio station again, ever. Stuff has come back to haunt me that just takes so much time and zero.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to pluck the thorn out of your side. Just go ahead and create a Gmail account for them and forward it. And don't tell them about it. They'll receive the mail, guaranteed.
Okay. All right. So I'm still stuck here, and I really just don't know how to proceed. I know I've asked you this question, but I just don't know how to fix it, because their fixes don't work.
I gave you the easy way out, so that's
okay. I'll just keep trying.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Lisa, could I make a suggestion? Yeah. If they have a middle name, maybe they could
order it as initial, first names, middle name, last name, use a different address or PO box, come in as if they're a different person and with the right email, and maybe try that.
No, because it's the emails, not their names.
I know, but
It's
if
key to
they
the email.
come in as a different name, Kartra may not recognize them as a duplicate record and it's a different email. Anyway, just a
And a
suggestion.
different email.
As long as it's keyed to a different email, that's the verification is the email.
Well, my issue is I've changed now this one girl who left the S off of her name, which was Donna M Creates, and she did it as Donna M Create. She has 2 other emails, and I tried to update that record to that email. It just won't let me do it. It's just, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm gonna just, I don't know what to do. Have her create a whole nother email.
Man, that's
Create another client record.
get another client.
That's
What the
I
hell?
People have paid me to be in my program. And literally what I'm doing is I have to do everything by hand manually in an email to them. And that just is a sucky use of my time. Why can't they just fix it to merge records? Infusionsoft does that. Oh, this record and this record, call them up and merge. And yes, I want to keep this address and this email, and I want to keep the component. Just do it, because I can't be the only one with this problem.
No, it's I'm sure it's on their radar. So, all
Okay,
right,
thank you, John. I
So, John,
yield my time.
If we're moving on.
no problem. Yeah, go ahead, Dwayne.
Hey, John. Yeah, hi, John. Yeah, I sent you a question the other day. I'm trying just to figure out, I'm going to launch my workshop on Kartra, and I just wondered how to do the linkage and where to set it up. Do I set it up in, do this thing on Zoom, but connect it to a calendar or as a product? How do I establish that in Kartra?
If they're paying for it, then you need a product set up.
Okay.
If you're just doing a webinar, is it just going to be delivered through a webinar and then that's the end of it?
No, I'll do a free webinar separately, but this is a product. Yeah, it'll be paid.
Okay. But like when you deliver the product, what is it? Is it going to be a membership area? Is it going to be a webinar? What's the actual deliverable?
I think what I'll do is I'll have it as my level 1 in membership level.
Okay.
So just kind of as a standalone, and in that membership thing, I'll just have the waiver and registration, initial questionnaire and startup video and all of those pieces that
Okay.
they can then access.
Cool. Yeah. So with that, basically you're going to need a couple of pieces. You're going to need the membership area set up. And if you want different levels, it's real easy to do that. You can set
I've set that up already.
yeah,
Yeah,
if this product is, if this product is purchased, then give them access to that level. So it sounds like you need a product set up where they can pay. And then when you get to the tab in the product where it says fulfillment, that's where you click membership. There's a membership button, and then it'll allow you to select which membership you want to give them access to and what level.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, when they make the purchase, they're automatically given the login information and they get access, and then you just put your content in there. However you want your content in there. If you want videos, text, links to live webinars, calendars, whatever you want to have in there.
Mm-hmm. Is that it? That sounds pretty simple.
That really is it. I mean, I've set a bunch of these up. They're really not that complicated.
Yay! I like to hear not complicated.
Yeah,
that's the best thing I've heard today. That's good.
Like with Kartra, Kartra's like anything else. With Infusionsoft, the same thing. You can make as simple of a campaign as you want, or you can make it as complex as you want. I know a lot of these internet marketer guys, they do these big elaborate things, and you look at it and you're just like, oh my God, what the hell? Where do I start? But you can really start with just a product and a member area. That's, I mean, you
This
can
is
make money
great.
with that, and then add stuff.
That's what I like.
The things that you would want to add after you get your first bare bones. Once you get that, then what you want to focus on is, okay, now I want to focus on conversion. So then you want to start adding landing pages where you can get people to opt in. You can give them a lead magnet. You can warm them up. You can make them an offer and then send them to that order page with the product on
So,
it.
so
they can buy it.
doing the landing page, opt-ins, lead magnet, I just have that, I can host that on Kartra, right?
Yeah,
That's
Kartra
separate
can
from
hold
this
all
product.
that. Yeah, it can hold all that content. And when you do it,
Then when I
that
do
way-
an ad, I just link to it.
yeah, yeah, it's all just linked together in there. When you do it that way, the cool thing is it keeps track of all your conversion ratios for you. It keeps, I mean, it gives you a lot of analytics built right into it.
Great.
There's, like Lisa she seems to find every little bug in it, but the program itself, I mean, I've been using it for 2 years, and yeah, there's a couple of things in it, but they're definitely not deal breakers. You just either work around them, or you might have to do something manually every once in a while. Like, I get it. I have a support desk, and I'll have people that are the same as Lisa's people. They don't know how to do anything. They don't want to do anything. And they'll say, hey, my credit card expired. What do I do? And I send them a link. And I know if I send them a link, they're not going to update their credit card. So I just tell them, hey, what's your number? I'll either give you a call or, send it here. Send me the expiration date and text, send me the number and email. So it's a little more secure or whatever. Basic stuff. I never complain as long as it's bringing money in, if I got to update somebody's card to keep them bringing money in for umpteen years, so be it. It's part of life.
Yeah.
But the system itself has so much going for it as far as the automations and all that stuff, but you don't have to have that stuff to make money. To make money, all you have to have is a product and a delivery mechanism. As bare bones, if you take everything off, you blow all the smoke and mirrors off it, I can make money with a product. I don't even need a page, really. I can send them the link that just pops up the order form. And I've done that. I have created products where I didn't even create a landing page. I just sent an email out and said, hey, I'm doing this thing. Here's the order page if you want to order it. And I've made money with just that. So it's it's as simple or as complex as you desire.
I'll start simple, making money.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody should do this. Everybody should start as simply as possible, and knowing that the goal is to add on. Your ultimate goal now is for conversion, because it's not just about having something up that can make money. Now it's about driving traffic to it, and it's about converting. That's when you take out your knife and your stone and you want to sharpen your sword. That's where, making better lead magnets.
Yeah.
Making better opt-ins.
And for this workshop, I've got a couple things. I have a lot of people former clients and friends who really support my work. I thought of sending them an email asking if they know anybody who's in legal trauma who might be helped with what I offer.
Sure.
And kind of an email, a link for them to forward. I could offer them like a $50 referral fee.
Yeah. See, when you create your product, go ahead and set up your affiliate form, your affiliate feature, activate it, put in there how much you want to pay, and then that automatically creates an affiliate program for you. Now you can send them the link to sign up for your affiliate program, and then you can send them their affiliate links.
Yeah. I also have about 1,600 contacts on LinkedIn, and they're all people who are in kind of the meditation, spiritual teacher, counselor, therapist, that kind of field. And I could do the same with them and say, look, if you have people, in a legal dilemma, I specialize in that,
Yeah.
here's a link.
Yeah, if you want to do traffic, like when you get your system up and play and you're ready to start taking money. Now we're talking about traffic. There's a lot of free ways to get traffic. And one of them is finding out where your prospects are hanging out, what forums they're in, what groups they belong to. Where do they actually engage and interact? Like if they're in a forum or in a group on Facebook or LinkedIn or something, and they're in there and they're actively communicating. Some are asking questions, some are just listening in and learning. What you want to do is you want to take part in the conversation.
Yeah.
You can't go in and just blatantly spam. You can't do that. You can't go in and say, hey, look at me, I've got this cool thing, buy it. Can't do that.
Yeah.
You'll get some ill effects if you try that. But you can go in and create conversations that are meaningful and helpful and lead people over to you. That works really well. Like if somebody's specifically asking for for what you've got, you can go in there and actually act like a third party and say, oh, have you seen Dwayne's program? It's really cool. Put a link to it.
Really?
Yeah. One of the very first things, you know how you guys see all these bots now, robots and crap that's in Messenger and Facebook and all that stuff? I actually created software to do that over 20 years ago that worked in old school forums. And what it would do, the software that I created for that, it would create like 100 different users, all different users, all based on different IPs. And it would go into the forum and the users would start communicating. They'd start asking questions. And I had a bot to ask the question. I had one to make the answer. And then I had other ones to jump in and comment. So I was creating real live conversations under my control based on just seeding out links for people to buy shit. It worked really, really well.
Wow. So you were secretly marketing to yourself through these bots.
I
have this. I think you said last week that you had this still or something like it.
It is like sitting in the back archive somewhere. The places that it was developed for don't even really exist anymore. But you could do the same thing. It's like I'm kind of shocked that all these guys that have created these bots and for Facebook and Messenger haven't done that yet. It's like, they're so far behind. I mean, that's what you want to do. That's truly, the world that you want to live in, is create the conversation.
Would I look up how to create a bot, how to create bots for myself, or ghost people, or whatever that would be called?
You could. I mean, I did that I actually created customer service people for Roger Dunn. When Roger Dunn went online, I was the one that took them online. The big golf company, Worldwide Golf, was their parent company. So I created a chat service for them. This was like way back in the beginning. It was based on the DigiChat platform. And I went in and I configured the DigiChat platform to work and auto respond with names. Like I created salespeople to answer people's questions, and it would look for keywords. It would be like, if I saw any keyword, I'd load up a database of keywords that had everything to do with drivers and putters and, all the different stuff that they sold. And if my bot recognized any of those keywords that had to do with putters, my little guy would hop in there and start up a conversation about putters. And ultimately he would make a referral for the putter that they wanted to blow out. And we sold a lot of product that way.
Wow.
All on automation. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Wow, interesting.
But yeah, I've been doing some pretty cool stuff ever since the beginning.
You're like a secret agent. You're a marketing spy. This would be a good novel.
Yeah, most people don't really know all the stuff I've done, but I've, and it was always for big companies. It was always a big company like Roger Dunn. They wanted chat, but they didn't want to put people on to service it. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll figure something out. But it was like I always tell them, if you've got enough money, I'll make sure you don't have any problems. It's it's like,
Right.
that's kind of
That's a
been my
good
thing since the beginning. You have enough money, I'll make sure you don't have any problems. I will make them disappear.
Yeah.
So I have encountered some
Great. Well, I
pretty,
think that
Digital
does.
mafia.
I've encountered some pretty
Yeah.
unique situations and come up with some equally unique solutions for them. So,
Great. Well, I think this is very helpful. Thank you very much, John.
yeah, absolutely.
John,
Yeah, go ahead, Shantha.
John, I have a question, but before I ask my question, I just want to remind you, you have your 50 free greeting cards to send out this month. So don't lose that out on your banner season.
Do I get that every month?
No, they have it for this month. Last month it was 25. This month they have 50. We are hoping to get 50 next month, but we'll see. They have some
Okay.
promotion going on. So
Right.
anyway, the question I had was, do you know of any good texting service? Like if you're on a, on a call or on a summit or anything like that, and you say text this to this number or so
I know
for them to
that.
get information.
Yeah, that is a really cool thing.
Mhm.
I haven't played with it myself yet. So I don't really have any like recommendations of, hey, these guys are great. I almost did. I was at one of the conferences in Las Vegas, and there was a bunch of vendors there, and I always talk to the vendors just to see if I can get any inside scoop on stuff. And there was, at this particular one, there was Kartra on one side of the aisle and Kajabi on the other side. And I was trying to play them against each other. I was trying to get the Kartra guys to tell me why they're better than Kajabi and vice versa. And it was funny. They wouldn't say anything bad about the other one. But right next to them was one of those texting services. And I was talking to the guy, and it was like, wow, these guys really have this stuff figured out. But I don't offhand, I don't remember the name of them or what their service was. But I know there's a bunch of them.
Mhm.
If you research them and figure out, which ones you think you like, I'd be happy to take a look at them for you and see if I can make heads or tails out of which one I might go with out of those.
Okay, I can do that.
And I'll look too. I'll see if I can find the one that I talked to. It's been a couple of years now, but
Does Jason Hornog ring a bell, John? Didn't he do that like 10 years ago with Peak Potentials? That was his big launch. Text the word. He was like on the cutting edge.
yeah,
Text the word blah to this number and watch. And he had everybody do it in the audience. And then we got his offer. And it was like brand new because texting had just started.
yeah. There's a bunch of them. The reason that I like this one that I talked to was they were connected to Kartra somehow, and it would take the information and share the information into the Kartra account.
Oh, that would be helpful.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
What if, like, I don't right now have Kartra because I'm building from the ground up right now. I bought AliceVarshall.com after we talked. And so I have my .com, and I'm going to talk to you about the website and everything. But how would one like me start, like you said, simple, without Kartra right now, knowing that I want to get to Kartra, but what would I do, or if everybody doesn't mind me asking that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a great question really for everybody. It's like, where do you start? There's a lot of people that need to know, where do I start? If they're starting at ground zero, that's an important place to get the right message. So where I would start, and this is for anybody, like a lot of people buy the tools first And you don't need to buy tools. You don't need to spend a bunch of money when you're getting started and you're mapping out your customer path and all that. What's most important is you figure out what hole you're going to fill. Like, what need are you going to supply the answer for? What is your product going to do for someone? You need to, and it goes exactly to the ACT program. If you look at the A to Z in ACT, it's figure out, who is my market? How are the segments played out in that market? Who's the most profitable segment? Usually the most profitable segment in any market is going to be the one that has the biggest hole. It's the biggest problem, because the bigger the problem, the more value in the solution. So when you're looking at business opportunity, any business opportunity, you're going to be solving somebody's problem. Somebody wants something. There's a deficiency there. They don't have something they want. And it's a hole. The bigger the hole, the more it costs to fill it. Make sure, that you're on the right path as far as that goes. Kartra is not going to help you with that. Having a Kartra account is not going to fix that. That's work that is prior to you needing tools. So next is product development. Like, if you don't have the thing to, and you don't even know what it is or whatever, you need to figure that out. You need to get pricing. You need to create an offer. Kartra is just a place to house all that stuff. It could take you months to figure it out, and you would have months of paid Kartra without getting anywhere. So, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You don't want to be paying for stuff before you need it. The most important thing is figure out what's your customer journey. What do they need? How can you provide that for them? And how can you communicate with them so they know you're the right solution for them? That's going to be in micro commitments. I talked about this a lot in different trainings that I've done. Micro commitments are the key to taking someone through a customer journey. People don't just buy from you. They don't just meet you and throw money at you. That's never worked in the real world. It certainly doesn't work in the online space either. So it's a journey. It's a meeting. It's just like the dating world. You don't meet somebody and have them ask you to marry them 5 seconds after you just met. You think they're a freak. If they want to know where you live, it's like, whoa, we're moving a little fast here, right? And that's, I see so many people do that in their business. It's like it's a buy or die scenario, and they're not successful, and they wonder why. That shit doesn't work in the real world. It never did. And, it's not going to work here either. You have to create a relationship. So micro commitments is the key to creating relationships and building trust. Small steps like lead magnets. What can you give them for free to give them great value? Once they've gotten good value and you offer them more value, they will take you up on it. So you're training them to take what you offer. And then eventually you're going to slide the first offer in there for a sale, and they're going to be trained to take it. So it's, it's just like dating. You ask for the micro commitment, not the dinner date. If you ask for the dinner date, there's too many decisions that have to go on in their head to say yes. If you say, hey, I'll pick you up at 8, now they got to decide, oh shit, do I want to get in the car? Do I want to be held hostage? Do I want to get stuck all night with this? No, the answer is probably no, right? But if you say, hey, how about meet me at Starbucks for a cup of coffee? That is a micro commitment. If things don't go right, you get in your car and you leave. Yeah, I'll commit to that. Sure. All day long. Now, if the coffee goes good and, good value comes out of the coffee date, then a dinner date is appropriate and likely. And if the dinner date goes good, again, you're training good to good to good, good to better to good, good, better, best. And
Yeah.
the more of that you can do, the more you train them, the better the relationship, the more trust, and the bigger offers will be accepted. Like eventually the marriage offer. The marriage offer for a lot of people is it's a high-end mastermind. You don't ask for that up front. So it's your customer journey. And your customer journey never ends with your first offer or even your last offer. At this point, now you've got to know this person, you know what they need. And if there's things outside what you're willing to provide, but you know where to find them, you can extend the customer journey into making money well beyond your scope of products. Like I make more off of my referrals to other things that I don't provide than I do off of my own services. Like look at this call. This call, I make $29 a month for the call. But anyone that I refer to Kartra, I'm making $40 a month. Kartra's paying me $40 a month for every referral. That's more than I make on my own call. How cool is that? And once somebody gets into that, Kartra is like a utility. It's like, when you buy a house or you rent a house or whatever, you're going to set up utilities. You're going to have electricity. You're going to have water. You don't stop paying those. Kartra is a utility. I'm a luxury. You might decide you don't want me anymore, and that's fine. You can cut off the luxuries, but you don't cut off the utilities ever. So that's why my customer journey involves every utility I can find. So there's a lot of wisdom in that. Think well outside of your scope. You're creating relationships that go well beyond what you provide. If you think about that, if you really internalize that, you'll make a lot more money and things will be a lot better.
John,
Takes
can
the
I ask a
pressure
question?
off you too. Yeah, go ahead, Olivia.
Hi, everybody. Well, you're talking to me, and I really want your advice
Okay.
because I already have a program. I put a lot of effort, and it's a very well compelling program. And I already have 3 groups through 3 webinars through the year, and I'm planning to have the last one for this year. I already have some success stories, like people that really got results out of my program.
Okay.
And I do have Kartra. I have been paying Kartra for probably 6 months, but I'm not using Kartra that much. And I don't know how to use it. I'm struggling. I'm doing little thing here, little here, there. And I'm not a tech savvy person. And that part, that Kartra for me is kind of difficult. So my question is, even though I already have the program, I'm still in kind of in a pilot mood because still I'm testing the program. Still I want to this year have my last group before I officially, my goal is for February to have all my training online.
Okay.
But still I have a journey. My question is, should I stay with Kartra right now that I'm in that specific stage of my business? I should be really, when I'm first figuring out all the details and then start paying Kartra.
Sure. I think you're going to definitely want Kartra for sure. Once you get up to that point and ready, I don't know what you've got in your Kartra account, if you've got it, it all configured, or if you spent any time or any effort, putting stuff together in there. But I believe that you can contact Kartra and you can put your account on hold and not lose it. I think they'll hold it for like $10 a month or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And that way, it's there, it's on hold, you can get your stuff together. And then when you're ready, you just reactivate it, turn it back on, pick up where you left off. So that might be a good way to go. I don't know any other system out there that is as good, as robust, as easy to use as Kartra for the cost of it.
I sent a note asking exactly that question, if I can put it on hold, and I never receive an answer back. So I guess I need to insist.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. So you put a support ticket in and they didn't
I
answer
did. Mhm.
it? I would just go update the support ticket and tell them, hey, I don't really want to cancel this, but if you can't tell me, then I'm just going to cancel it. And
Okay.
if you haven't done much in it, you can always go back and start it back up. I mean, you can repay for it. I think Lisa did that. Did you not reactivate your Kartra account, or was it somebody else I'm thinking of? Okay, somebody else, they canceled it and they went back in and reactivated it. And it was just fine.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
I think it was Tim Gillette mentioned that he actually wrote them, and I think that I don't remember if I'm remembering correctly if it was Tim, but I think they even gave him some credit and when he reactivated, like because he had paid
yeah.
it. So
Yeah, because when you cancel out, they want to do everything they can to get you back in. So they might give you special offers and stuff like that. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
So I just want to come back around. What would you use if you weren't using Kartra, John, just to kind of get things going, and then knowing that I'm going to move to Kartra as soon as I could at least know that I could cover, the return on the investment that I have coming in, that it's worth the money?
Well, prior to Kartra, I had a bunch of stuff bootstrapped and patched together that worked, but it was constantly requiring attention because if one thing updates, they get out of sync, and it was a real pain. But I don't really know of any cheaper program that has everything that it has.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of other programs out there. Most of them are not. They don't work as well. They require other pieces. They're Infusionsoft. I mean, I'm not a real tech person either. I couldn't use Infusionsoft. I tried. It was just beyond my frustration level that I can deal with.
That's something. Yeah, you're just a mad scientist, genius, tech wizard. That's all.
Well, I don't do like the coding stuff. I can look at situations and I can unravel them, and I can like mastermind stuff at a high level, but I'm not generally the nuts and bolts guy. I usually have someone else do the legwork, because I have a very short attention span. I'm not like, and a lot of people might think I am, but I'm not real detail oriented. I'm real good at starting stuff, but putting the final touches and all that stuff, I'm just flat too lazy. I could be way more effective if I wasn't, but I am, and it makes me way more creative, mentally creative, to get what I want out of life the easy way. And Kartra has just done that for me. I mean, I can't even imagine going back without it at this point. I've made so much more money. Like, that's probably why this year has been one of my best. I really got a handle on Kartra, and I'm using it, and it's making me money. It's so easy. I mean, I could get an idea right now. Like, if somebody exposed a hole that I could fill, I could literally light up Kartra and I could have a campaign emailed out within an hour. I could have a product up, I could be taking money, I could be, the whole thing. I could have it done in an hour. And, it makes me incredibly nimble with a minimal amount of effort, because all the heavy lifting's done.
So do you recommend it's worth all of our time and effort to learn Kartra? Like,
it is
absolutely what you're telling me.
Yeah, it is absolutely a skill set that you're going to want to have. I mean, you can farm it out, but to have the skill set and the ability at your fingertips to do this stuff on a dime, That skill set is absolutely priceless.
Do you have, is there any training programs that you recommend to learn Kartra?
Kartra has a phenomenal universe in the back end for specific stuff. Where it's not that great is it's not good at the overview. It's not good at, hey, here's how you make money with Kartra, or here's how you put a campaign together. If you're stuck on any component, it's awesome. You can drop right in there. I've used it myself to learn stuff that I didn't know how to do inside Kartra. I can go right to it, learn the thing I need, and on I go. The 2-day training that I did that was called Funnel Camp, it's 2 days going through Kartra.
Oh, wow.
And it's from my perspective of how I look at the campaign, how I pull the pieces together, what order I build them in Kartra, so you don't have to go back and forth. Because Kartra's got all the pieces, it's got all the components, but there's no intuitive way to here's how I put a campaign together. So in the 2 days that I did the funnel camp, I actually went through how I do it. Like what pieces you need, which ones go in what order, all of that stuff. So that's really the only one that I know that's out there is the one that I did. I'm sure there's other Kartra trainings out there, but you know, it's not really a difficult program to operate either. I know it's like a Chinese nesting doll. It's like you see the tabs and then you open one and then there's 3 more and then you open that, there's 3 more. But once you know, it's like anything else. You know, it's like if you watch a baby go through the steps of learning how to walk. You know, there's so many things to it. There's 64 muscles that have to fire in a perfect sequence for you to take a step. And a baby doesn't know how to do all 64 at once. So it learns them. The memory goes in and it layers. Every time you learn a new thing, it layers in and you never have to think about that again. And sooner or later, kid's up walking, the kid's running, and he never looks back. Okay. It's not until we get to, 80, 90 years old. Now what happens is we start second guessing ourselves. We start telling ourselves we're feeble and we have to start thinking about walking so we don't fall. And that's when you fall. When you can't think about how to take a step. Your mind can't process 64 things at once. So what happens is you have a meltdown and you take a misstep because you're trying to think of how to do it. And you can't. That's why old people fall. They try and think about how to take the step without falling, and down they go. You've got to let the muscle memory do the work for you, because the human mind's not capable of thinking consciously on more than a few things at a time.
Don't I know it?
So it's the
Ron, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Sometimes breakdowns occur. It's like the links of a chain. You assume a link is there and it's going to work. And then it's really, the link is missing or something. My program for getting out in the world, one of it involves some advertising on TV. And I was talking to an associate of mine and I said, it's great. They see the ad, then they go to the website, and then they, pick an area they want to live in, or they go to my educational gifts where I give them free stuff and blah, 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 and go to Nirvana, a la, Craig DeWalt's system of thinking. And I was talking to this guy, he goes, schmuck, give him the phone number, make the phone ring. He goes, you don't want them screwing around. Go on your website. What are you selling? The service? Or, who's got the better website? So it's making me rethink. There's a company called Freedom Voice. Let's say 10 calls coming at once. They will take the call and they will they'll even qualify them, I guess, to a certain extent. Like, let me ask you 3 basic questions. Which is a heck of a lot different
Yeah.
than them going to a web page and navigating that. So my question is, after telling you my whole story, is like I'd love to have a website working. I'd love to have it promoting me as as an authority and getting through breakdowns and increasing the wealth in their lives and happiness through real estate and my courses. So I have like 2 different products there all of a sudden. What's your read on that?
Well, I actually think there's a lot of brilliance in what they told you there. Like getting people on the phone, that's been the backbone of the television advertising for a very long time. So taking that into consideration, that advertising, that's probably the perfect way to do that rather than trying to send them to your website as a direct action. Have that be the secondary action. But then have your website back up the primary action by directing them to make the call from the website as well. That way it's all cohesive, it's all together, it's all in the same direction. So that's a perfect piece for the website, is to just reinforce the message of, hey, call, I'm here, I'm ready to help you right now.
Sorry.
So
Well, that's awesome.
That's what I would do as far as that goes.
Got it, Chief. I got it.
So yeah, but I like that, I like the fact that they guided you with that from that perspective. When you're going to them for ads, I always look for companies that, like, if you're going to spend money to advertise, you want to use their experience. Their experience is absolutely invaluable. So to do that, that's awesome. I would say you've got a good company there that does that for you. But I think setting up that call center, I think I mentioned that to you, in the very beginning, that you should have a call center to at least take the calls in, because when somebody calls, they need to have somebody on the other end of the line, even if it's not the person they need to talk to right now. They get somebody, and then the connection is made, and then they can set the appointment. That would be awesome if they could set the appointment, pass them through to the sales guy, and make the connection. Some of them have what's called a hot swap. Operator takes the call, they get some basic information, and they can do a hot swap, and they hit a button, and the salesperson's phone rings, and they just patch them right in. So when you're
some of the ads run at like ungodly hours.
That's okay. You need some salespeople who'll take a call at an ungodly answer to make some money.
3 a.m.
Yeah. Well, the call services, they run 24/7, so that's not a problem.
Right.
You just need somebody that will take the hot swap call. Like, you might have one guy that's a night owl, and you inform the operator, hey, if a call comes in after midnight, between midnight and 4 a.m., this guy gets the call. Hot swap it right to him. And then you might have somebody, that's, maybe East Coast. So 4 a.m. is really 7 a.m. for them here. And they can take the call. So it's all strategy, it's all thinking about, you're building a mousetrap, right? You want to catch as many mice as possible. So don't let them go looking for cheese in another in another hole.
Well, let me ask you about logos. I've been playing with logos for months, and I spoke to an art director the other day that said, it really doesn't matter what your logo looks like.
I don't know that I would believe that 100%. I mean, I think logo is basically a representation of your image, so that should be important to you. I learned a lesson from this was a customer of mine that became a very good friend. He's passed away now. He was quite a bit older than I was at the, when I first met him. But I learned a lot from this guy about advertising, and he was the guy that developed the logo for Shell Oil. He was actually the guy that created the Shell logo. And what he told me about logos was, he said, without a word attached to the logo, they should know what it is and what it represents. And what is Shell? If you take the word shell off, it is a shell. He said it was, it was one of the best logos he ever came up with. It was the most recognizable logo in the world. And, and that was before the Nike swoosh. But the thing that made the Nike swoosh recognizable was a gazillion dollars. His was recognizable with $0. So he told me, he said, if you want a logo that this is the criteria by which a logo is measured. If you can take the words away and they know exactly what it is, you've done your job well. And that's.
Well, I would think the logo for Shell should be, a gas nozzle in the tank of a car, as opposed to a seashell or an oil derrick. But
Well, oil comes, when you break it down, it's, oil is distilled from a billion years of shells and
oh, I get it. Oh boy, back to high school science. All right.
No, but I mean, I'm a former art director. It's a former, it never leaves you. Art director and creative director. So you research your brand, and that's how you come up with the image that would transfer. What John's saying is 100% accurate. And the other thing is, it should be in black and white. This, whether it's, remember, we used to print in newspapers, whether it's 1/8 of an inch to a size of a billboard, you should be able to see it. Like right now we use apps, and on your phone, they're 1/8 of an inch, and you could still recognize some logos, like Facebook captured the F and, things like that. So the idea is to get it to be an image. What John's talking about is branding, brand recognition is what we're all working on, so that when we see anything that we're all each putting out, we would go, oh, that's Shantha. Oh, that's John Limbacher, like Internet Dominators. John's got the wings with the triangle and the eye in it. So, we know his logo. We identify it with John, and so on. So that's the work of the logo.
A
There's
lot of
thought behind it.
real estate people use houses and keys, and roof lines of houses, and
Sure.
That's like a $99 website. It looks like a house and your name. And we all, I think, have a tendency to want to be unique. I know I do.
Yeah.
But then again, look, if it's a shell, for Internet Dominators, that's like a woman with a whip and looking like Batgirl standing on top of a keyboard. But teach their own.
Yeah. Well, if you look at mine, there's a lot of meaning behind my logo that everybody associates with. They say, oh, that's the Illuminati. It wasn't meant to be the Illuminati. It was meant to be the all-seeing eye, because I've seen everything ahead of the road, ahead of the curve. It's that ability to see the future and be prepared for it. The wings are freedom. It's the freedom that having the all-see eye will get you. And that's been my thing ever since the beginning. Like, I have predicted every move that Google ever made, and I kept my clients safe because of it. So it's the all-seeing eye leading to freedom. That's me. It represents me. If that's the Illuminati, so be it. It wasn't meant to be that, but if that's what it comes out to, so be it.
Well, you know what? When you say it that way, John, it is almost like saying, the Illuminati, you're almost hitchhiking on their concept.
Mhm.
And that is making it recognizable to the public. It's like, oh man, we know that.
Yeah.
We know the eye on the dollar bill on the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Must be something really powerful.
Yeah. It's associated with unknown knowledge, secret knowledge, power, money. It's, it's got an association play to it that people get from the look of it, just like the shell. That's shell.
John, who created your logo?
I actually created that one.
Really? Awesome.
I pieced it together from an original logo that was from the Navy SEALs.
Mm.
And I just took the guns out of it. I, put the I in, and but those wings are from the Navy SEAL, the one where it says "We own the seas." So it's all about dominion, but dominion based in the business world from knowledge. And money. I mean, where else do you see that all-seeing eye? It's on the dollar bill. So for me, I tied a lot of me is tied into that.
It's complex looking, I'll tell you, your logo. And it seems to be done it most effective in color, right? You have a
Yeah.
3-color.
Now Martha Hanlon, she was the one that actually developed the brand. She took all of my pieces. She's the one that came up with the idea to call it Internet Dominators, because it was originally SEO Dominators. And SEO was getting kind of a bad name. And she said, well, you're way more than just SEO. She said, you're not just about dominating SEO and Google, you're about dominating the internet.
Thank you.
So let's move it up a level and call you Internet Dominators. And I'm like, that's awesome. So it took me out of a little bitty niche and it took me into a much bigger brand.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one that came up with the colors and the way it was laid out with the Internet Dominators and 2 lines and all that. So she was she took all of my stuff and put it into a cool little design. But the eye and the wings, I did that based on the Navy SEALs logo.
I was thinking of using the sea bees logo, like the bees with the 5 arms, and one would be holding a house, the other one be holding a book, I don't know, the other would be holding a gun, get ready for the elections.
Yeah, we all better get ready for that. It's coming quick.
What is you're talking about the goddess Kali?
No, the sea bees have a bumblebee with a sailor's hat on and all these arms. And, I liked it, and it's a powerful image. And, John, what I'm getting out of this is sort of, sometimes it happens that you hitchhike on another popular image that the public knows.
Sure.
And I thought the sea bees are great builders in action, and so are realtors.
Yeah.
If
if you take what I put together, it's riding on top of multiple entities. It's riding on top of, the dollar bill, the Illuminati, the Navy SEALs. It's, there's a lot of components brought together to create a unique brand for me. And I think it's, it's fairly representative. So
I just got an idea. I don't know what is the sea bees?
that's the engineers in the Navy that are on ship. Yeah,
let's say you have an invasion. The boats will get you into the harbor, but they'll build a bridge that goes to the beach to the boat. And they do it under combat conditions some of the time. So they call them the fighting sea bees,
Oh,
that's a division.
Rich is Rich is United States Marine Corps drill sergeant. He's saying that they're the engineers.
Kenny is a CB.
Okay, I got it, honey. Anyway, I had an idea, but I'll tell you later, because it was taking You know how a hive is honeycomb? The honeycomb is that unique shape. How many sides is it? 8.
Like be connected.
Right. Oh, well, there you go. There's something there. Oh, forget it then. I was thinking of using that, making wreaths with that shape, but Be Connected is too new and fresh. So never mind.
John, I just have a quick question. I typically, buy domains, myself, like like we've talked about before, but I have a client who and I don't normally get involved with this, but I have a client who have bought the domain through Squarespace and hosting through Squarespace. And I kind of think one have like maybe a year commitment, but it's almost like they own the domain. Do you know if one can get it back from them?
You should be able to. If they don't allow you to, that's not somebody that you want to work with. And I would dump that and move to something else as quickly as possible and forget about it.
Well, do you mean forget about the domain, or?
Yeah, if they own it and you don't really control it, that's not something you want to build a business on.
Yeah, that's what I realized. That's what I was going to talk to my client about, because they've already signed up with them.
Yeah,
but you say that is a because I know what you previously said. You can't do anything with SEO. It's just not. It is not something you want to build a business on.
Yeah,
but that's why I kind of wanted. But you think there is a possibility that one can
I
get
think
it back after a certain period or something?
Yeah, I think they should release it to you if you ask for it.
Oh, okay.
That shouldn't be a problem. If it is, then you're really you don't want to move forward on that domain if you don't truly own it.
Then you might use add something to the name and keep a .com or use a .net or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever use a .net.
You would like to stay, whatever it is, it should be a .com.
Yeah, it should be a .com, because if you have a .net, people will always go to the .com, and it's just I've done it. I used to have I still own it. My original company, when I first went online, it wasn't Internet Dominators. It was Limbo Vision. It's still my parent company that owns everything.
Yeah.
So I created Limboland, and I couldn't get limboland.com. So I used limboland.net, and I figured that's fine. I'm a network provider anyway. So I still have it. I still have limboland.net. But a lot of times people would send me email and they'd send it to the .com and it wouldn't come through. And it was always a thorn in my side. So I would always pick a .com.
Okay.
People are so used to typing .com.
Yeah, no, we'll do that. Just like with Mango branding, like I told you, it was from this time that I started 5 years ago, it was taken. So I just did mangobrandingusa.com.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so I will add something to my client's name and then just tell them. Yeah,
try and get the domain first. If you can, great. If not, then yeah, you want to make a switch.
Yeah. Okay. Now, thank you so much, John.
Sure.
John, speaking of domains, on your domain registry that you have, do you have a set of 5 email plans that we can get, and then just set up a separate email for each domain?
Yes. Yeah, there's email plans in there.
Okay.
And you can use those. Like if you get a 5 plan, you can use them on multiple domains.
Okay.
They don't all have to be used on the same domain.
On the same. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah, I got one I wanted to set it up as a marketing to put like my banner season and any other marketing things that I have. But then I think my husband wanted to use some other ones for different things. So wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Yeah. You it's very flexible. You can use it for those.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, John, can you just talk about the benefits of working with you as the host for the website? Because I wanted to ask you about all that, and maybe it would benefit everyone else to know why it's valuable to use the hosting company. I'm trying to figure out, I want to be effective, and I want to know more.
Sure. There's a lot of options for hosting. There's a lot of cheap options for hosting as well. The problem with the cheap hosts is they're just that. You know, it costs a certain amount of money to keep servers up and provide hosting. And when you see hosting at like $4 a month, $5 a month, that doesn't really even cover the cost of it. So do you really want to run your business on something that somebody is just breaking even or possibly losing money on? And if they're doing it at that level, they've probably got so many customers that you're just a number in a herd. And I've had a lot of people that I used to do their SEO, and then all of a sudden, you know, we'd run a report and their SEO would be just tanked. And I'd pull their site up and their site was down. And their site had been down for 2 weeks and nobody knew about it. And the hosting company didn't even reach out and, you know, tell them. And then we go to the hosting company and say, well, can you back it up? Can you restore a backup? And they don't even have backups. So the site's just gone. It's a disaster.
That happened to me, but I paid for a lifetime of web hosting I paid a lot of money up front to this web designer. She said, oh, it comes with a lifetime of hosting, and the site went down and I didn't know it because I was thinking, well, that's it. And somebody called me and said, I'm trying to buy a painting and it keeps saying the site isn't up. And I said, what? I said, okay, let me check with my webmaster. And it had been down for so long that the site, everything got wiped out and she wouldn't upload the rest of it.
Yeah, when it comes to services, you don't ever want to buy a lifetime service of anything. They don't support them. They're not.
I found that out the hard way.
Yeah. So I mean, our web hosting service, we don't nickel and dime. We provide everything that you need. We've got the security certificates. We install them for you. You don't have to worry about that. We automatically run backups every day. We run a monthly backup. You know, all the stuff that should be going on, we just do it. You don't have to pay nickel and dime for everything. And, you know, we just take really good care of our clients. So the other ones, they don't. You have a problem, you call in. You're probably going to sit on hold for an hour. You're going to get hung up on. You know, you get what you pay for really in hosting. So with us, if there's ever a problem, you know, we fix it. and hopefully we don't have problems, you know. Inevitably something's going to come along, you know, at some point, but you've got somebody that knows how to fix it. So anyway, I mean, there's all kinds of details that may or may not make, you know, sense to you, but that's in a nutshell. That's basically what you're looking at.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I appreciate it because don't, you know, when when I'm researching, not you, but when I'm researching, I'm reading and I'm like, I don't understand why this one's 3 and this one's, you know, 30 and this one's 10 and this one's 20, you know. So that's what I figured I'd ask them. A
lot of times too, here's what can happen. Let's say you got a $4 a month host, right? And they're planning on you not having any traffic. And let's say, like Woody, let's say you run a television ad and you throw, you know, 10,000 people across that website. And all of a sudden, you know, you get a bill from the hosting company for bandwidth. And you're like, what the hell? Your $4 just went to several $100s. And they do that. You know, they say unlimited, but that's total bullshit. You don't get unlimited anything for $4, even though they say it. I guarantee you they will hit you with charges. They say in the fine print, it will say unlimited reasonable bandwidth. And what they consider unlimited reasonable bandwidth is very little. So anyway, there's always snags when you go with cheap stuff. That's
wow, I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
That makes sense because most everybody doesn't, like they say, their websites are just digital business cards sitting out there doing nothing.
Yeah. And, most of them have customer service overseas, which that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be. Can be and usually is. So anyway, that's
Well,
kind of
thank
the,
you. That's very helpful for me. It helps me make the decision with a good understanding. So that's a
yeah.
that's a
And
plus.
and I mean, we do hosting very reasonable for all of our members. I mean, we can't do it at $4 a month, but we do it at like $19.95 a month for all the members. So that's about as low as I can reasonably go and provide good service for you. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we'll wrap up here and
Okay, final question then.
we'll get with the program.
But boat slip, what directions to meet you Monday?
Oh, it's Shoreline Marina, and we're gonna be getting measured up for our slip before they send us to it at 10.
Right. So
So
Shoreline Marina,
So we'll be down on I think it's A dock is where their office.
A dock.
Yeah.
Okay. A dock, Monday morning. All right.
Yeah.
See you then.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
do you drink champagne?
I'm not really much of a drinker myself.
Okay.
but,
All right. All right, then I'll bring a 6-pack of Coke.
Okay, John, could you just quickly tell us in a minute what that event is? I didn't get it.
It's his
uh,
yacht.
oh.
We're joking about showing up on his yacht on Monday morning and bringing him champagne, like having mimosas and bagels.
Yeah, I'm bringing my new boat into Long Beach Harbor Monday morning.
Alice, you're bringing the bagels?
I'm bringing the bagels. Would he bring the locks?
No, he's gonna catch it
I'm
on the way
gonna
from
bring-
San Diego to Long Beach.
I'm gonna bring the CBs.
There you go.
All right.
All right,
John.
guys.
Good
Well,
class.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up for today. We will hopefully be on next week, same time, and we'll talk to you then.
You'll be
Thank you, John.
broadcasting from the yacht.
Maybe.
You better be.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.